So here we are, day one of MIPCOM 2023. I'm here with Danny Fenton from Zigzag Productions. Danny, how are you?
I'm good, Justin. It's lovely to be back in the south of France.
It is indeed. And we spoke to you a few weeks ago for the Telecast podcast, and we talked about how you were going around the world and seeing what new deals you could do and what new markets you can unlock for factual production. How's that going? Are you doing lots of international meetings here at MIPCOM?
Yeah, I mean, the great thing about coming to MIPCOM is that all of those people come to one place. So, the conversations we've been having that I told you about with Saudi Arabia, with China, with South Africa are all happening here as a follow-on. Unfortunately, the only ones we're not able to have are with the partners we have in Israel who haven't been able to attend for obvious reasons. But yeah, generally speaking, all the people that we've been speaking to in other countries are here, so that makes this a sort of one-stop shop.
And you're one of the hardest working producers I know when it comes to working the market and getting the right meetings in. How's it looking this year? Is your diary as packed as ever?
It's very kind of you to say I'm one of the hardest working. I'm sure there are many more and more hard working. I always feel like I like to look like I'm a swan, gliding on the surface but kicking furiously underneath the water. I always think there are a lot more clever people than me, so I have to work that bit harder to keep up with the clever people. I have 68 meetings in the next 3 days, so that's a meeting every half an hour, no toilet breaks, and a couple of breaks for eating.
Extraordinary stamina. So what are you pitching?
We are pitching, factual projects. We have access to the International Legion Ukraine for a 6-part series where we have half the money. We're trying to find the rest of the money here. We range all the way from sort of feature-length, award-winning documentaries all the way through to shiny floor game shows. So we have a game show that we are partnering with a South African producer on that we're looking to launch here as well. So there are numerous different projects that we're pitching here, looking for numerous different buyers.
So lots of international countries coming together, more than there have been probably since before COVID. So you're finding business is being done?
Business is definitely being done. I can testify that just from this morning's interest in a couple of our projects. What's interesting as a UK producer with a US presence is there are a lot less UK and US buyers here than there have been historically. But as we discussed on the podcast a few weeks ago, the UK and US markets are quite flat. So what is great about being here is it's those buyers from other countries who are looking to buy, and what you hope is that people who are coming to MIPCOM as buyers are coming because they want to spend money on buying shows, not just on having nice meals and a good time. So we are seeing, and when I say we've got 68 meetings, I reckon we're probably seeing people from at least 50 different countries within that. So it's a real across the board geographical reach.
And you told us about your project in China, the Great Wall of China project travel show. China are back and back in force for the first time in about 3-4 years. Are you seeing lots of Chinese businesses and working with them in terms of co-productions and new projects?
So we have this new project that you mentioned that is launching at this market, the Great Wall, with Ash Dykes, which will be airing in China, I think, next week on CCTV. Yes, China's back in a big way at the market, which we haven't seen since pre-pandemic. We are talking to China about other projects. I'd say Asia is back in a big way in general. There's a lot more people from Korea I'm seeing here, and Thailand, Singapore. So I think the Asian market is back in a big way. And the other big market seems to be the Middle East. There's a strong Middle Eastern presence as well.
So from an experienced producer to a newbie, who's attending the market as a producer from whatever country they're from, what would be your top tips for having a successful MIPCOM?
I mean, my top tip, but it might be a bit late to tell people this now, is to pre-book your meetings. So I bumped into a producer actually at the airport who'd booked last minute, and I said to him, how many meetings have you got? And he said, no, I haven't got any meetings. I'm just going to go down and see who I can meet. And I'm not saying that's a bad idea, because if you're a new producer, you want to get a flavour of the market, you want to walk around the Palais, you want to see what ideas are out there, that's great. But I think if you really want to get business done, you have to be prepared, and you have to plan your meetings, and you have to have 68 meetings back to back over 3 days.
And that takes a couple of months to set up in advance, right?
Yeah, I think, Mia Zigzag, you know very well, she started booking meetings in August, and I bumped into somebody last week who's a broadcaster, and I said, when did you start booking your meetings? And they said they closed their diary about a month before MIP. So it's almost like you can't go too soon in trying to book your meetings for MIP. And I think if you want to get something meaningful out of the market, you want to have pre-planned meetings.
All right, that's good advice. Danny Fenton from Zigzag Productions, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.